Now, let's head to Barcelona, join La Liga TV presenter, regular here on Good Morning Sports Fans, Semra Hunter. Lovely to see you, Semra. Thanks so much for coming on. And we've got lots to talk to you about this morning, so I'll get straight into it, starting with Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid. What are you hearing?
What we're hearing, at least here in Spain, is that the deal is not done yet. That basically Borussia Dortmund would like something in the ballpark of 150 million, and Real Madrid are not willing to go higher than 120 million. In fact, they would like something between the ballpark of 100 and 120, and they're not willing to negotiate necessarily anything higher than that. That's at least what's being reported here in Spain. They would like to hire his services. They've been interested in him for a long time now. Talks have reportedly been going back for the better part of a year now. And also, it might be in the best interest of Borussia Dortmund to sell him at this time. He has a contract until 2025. There is no release clause. So this might be the moment they can get the prettiest penny for him, considering that Real Madrid seem to be the number one prospect right now in terms of clubs that are after him, after Liverpool cooled their interest last month. And it seems as though City might be the only other contender. But what's also being said here in Spain is that the player himself has given the verbal agreement to Real Madrid and vice versa. Of course, that is yet to be confirmed, but that is what the media is saying over here. So it's not done yet, but it's looking very, very good. And I think it would be a brilliant move for all parties involved.
When you look at sort of where Real Madrid are at the moment, they have got a lot of young talent coming through. With that in mind, do you think it is the right fit for Bellingham at this point of his career? And do you see him walking into the starting 11?
I do think it's a good fit for him. Whether he walks into the starting 11, no, I don't think that's the case. One of the reasons for that is that there are 7 players who are up for contract renewal in the summer. 3 of them are midfielders. So you have Luka Modrd, you have Toni Kroos, and Ceballos. All 3 of them are very likely to at least extend their contract for another year, if not 2. Ceballos probably a little bit longer than that. So in the short term, I think there's going to be stiff competition in the midfield. However, that being said, Toni Kroos doesn't really have a natural replacement in the side. And he's probably the closest thing, Bellingham, to a long-term replacement for the German. So I think there will be rotations. It will also depend on if Carlo Ancelotti is still the manager or not. So yes, in the short term, there might be a little bit of overbooking, but in the long run, he certainly would have a lot of opportunities to play, to become a regular fixture, to become a starter. And it's a brilliant place for him to continue developing his game. And it fits perfectly into the mold of what Real Madrid are after. Snapping up young talent on the market, about 19, 20, 18, that kind of age, and then continuing to develop them for the long term and have them for probably 10 to 15 years. So you go into a team where you know you're guaranteed some level of success. They've obviously been winning the Champions League fairly regularly over the last decade or so now. And again, it's a great place for him to continue becoming one of the elite midfielders in world football.
What about Lionel Messi, Semra? A lot of talk about him this week. We know now he's going to leave Paris Saint-Germain at the end of the season. I'm not sure it's a period of his career he'll look back too fondly on, but one thing's for sure, he was an absolute legend at Barcelona. Any chance he could be back there playing where you are right now?
Oof, to be really realistic, I don't think so. As of today, I don't think it's possible because financially, Barcelona still have a lot of heavy lifting to do. They have to reduce wages by about 200 million. They're also going to be leaving the Spotify Camp Nou to play in Montjuic, which is a substantially smaller stadium as they prepare renovations. They still need to find investing and funding for that project. They also have to get rid of quite a few players on the books as well. So I just see it as a very difficult operation for them to do from an economic point of view. Obviously, I think fans would love it. They would relish in the opportunity for him to come back, have a last dance, to have a proper send-off that he didn't really get to have. I think Laporta, the board, even Xavi himself, I think they would love to have him come back and play for another few years. So again, one thing is fantasy, another thing is reality. And as of today, even Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, has made it pretty clear that Barcelona would have to do some substantial maneuvering whenever it comes to the finances in order to make that feasible. So who knows, maybe 3-4 months from now, it could be more of a realistic possibility. But as of today, I don't think so. And also on top of that, their sporting director, Mateu Alemán, has announced that he's leaving the club. So it'd be interesting to see how that also affects and impacts the business that they do in the summer.
Okay, Ansu Fati, just before we let you go, Ansu Fati is another player making the headlines. Could he be making a move to the Premier League this summer, do you think?
I think there's a very realistic possibility that he could leave the club, whether it's the Premier League or somewhere else. That, of course, I'm not really sure. But yes, I think Ansu Fati would like to stay at the club. But again, given their situation, I think they understand that he's a young player with a lot of talent and he has a bright future ahead of him. If they can cash in for about something like 70, 80 million, for example, then they'll probably be likely to take it, even if from a football point of view, they would prefer to keep him. I think Xavi would like to keep him in the side because of the potential that he does have. And of course, he's only just returning from severe injury. He was out for quite a long time. And so he's just trying to fit back into the mold at Barcelona. It'd be very disappointing, I think, for a lot of fans to see him leave now and never really fully live up to the potential that he has had. But it could be a great financial operation for Barcelona if they do, in fact, get a really nice offer for him, which I think is very likely to be in the cards. And it could well be for a club in the Premier League.
Great stuff, Semra. Brilliant to speak to you as always. Thank you so much for your time.